most men would say, I want the ability, or if I had the ability to take care of everything, then they would do it without a second thought, without complaining, without feeling like, what about me? Because we want to take care of things, like by nature.
The 50-50 thing is a very weird conversation for me because I've, hands down, off the rip, a man should provide at all times, never waver, never stop. You take care of your household, your woman, family, etc. No stop. It is what it is.
We need to put more energy into getting more of the bag, like, because it's feasible, number one, it's possible. And again, sitting back, having this discussion about what we would do and could do.
And still, I feel no pressure. Surrounded by dogs, giving you game, we giving you lecture. Say thank you to God, we got another day to be better. And if it get hard, just need another day with the fellas. We about to give you that work. Say your name like it's church. We finna give you that work. Just like Serena, we serve. You want the truth by your shirt. My phone get fly like bird. But we all lost boys, no search. But we all lost boys, no search.
Nun The Wizer is a thought-provoking podcast that challenges the notion of certainty and expertise. Through engaging discussions, we invite listeners to embrace the wisdom of humility, curiosity, and the power in not knowing. With that being said, I'm going to introduce my lovely panel, my co-host, the amazing, I'm going to go straight to my far across, Trip.
What's going on?
Trippy, you know what I'm saying, my brother. To my direct right, that is Amara. That is the woman who makes things go around here, right? Would you say so yourself?
I would. No, sorry.
All right.
Something like that.
And we have a really good guest that we're going to have the pleasure of speaking to about a lot of certain things that y'all might want to hear about. Edie Jones.
It's good, it's good.
How you doing, sir?
Good, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good.
Don't forget yourself.
Oh, and who am I?
Vanny.
Hey, Vanny, nah, Vonnie. Some call me Poe. And yeah, let's do it.
Podcast Poe.
But I really want to know how you're doing. I really only have a relationship with you through Facebook. So for those who are watching who might also have a relationship with you through Facebook, introduce yourself and, you know.
Well, my name is Easy. I'm born and raised in Roxbury. I am a borderline kid. You know, we call it Roxchester because some people have an identity crisis in the city. You know what I mean? They don't know which side they're from or on. But I was born in Roxbury. I grew up in Dorchester. But I claim both. I love both, and that's me. But highly intelligent, enthusiastic guy, career driven, hustler, all of the above. Trying to grow more, be more. And within God's power, that's it.
What's crazy is like just listening to you introduce yourself, and from what I've seen on social media, it's in like direct alignment with what you just said. A lot of times you'll see somebody who's a clown on social media, and you meet them in person, and they're like me, like in the corner, like, hey.
That's me.
That's me too, low key. So that's dope because again, like since I've known you or of you, I've known you to be a hustler. Just from what I've seen, I've known you to be intelligent from what I've seen.
Confident.
Confident for sure. So that's dope.
Thank you, brother.
That's pretty
appreciate
dope. That's pretty dope. Amara, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
That's it. Give me a little more. Like how was your week? Weekend.
My week was long. It was like a lot of work. I don't know. I work long hours. I work like 12-hour shifts. So
12-hour shifts. Oh, dang.
Every day.
I got to keep that in mind during our conversation.
Right.
Are you like a nurse?
That's why she goes so hard.
I work at the post office.
Oh, yeah. Big
she going hard.
federal employee.
Yeah, I'm going to have to.
Big Fetty.
I'm
taking holidays.
I'm a federal employee too, so you know what I'm saying? Yo, Trip, how you doing, man? How
am I doing?
Yeah, how you doing?
I thought you said you're an informant. Was the federal employee.
Informant.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No, not
that type of.
Not I. No.
Which button did you press?
Nope.
Have you seen the salaries of those motherfuckers, bro? The informants, yeah. I think the starting salary was $132,000.
I don't even need money at that point. Just keep me out of jail. I'm good. I don't even need to be paid.
They had a salary list on Instagram to be for people that's telling my God, $132,000 is the base salary. salary to be a federal informant.
Yeah, but that's probably at like the top.
Wait, you said
level.
you said
Like,
132.
you really out here.
$132,000. When I seen that, I was
That's
like,
crazy.
wow, like, okay, wow. This,
I mean, just imagine.
This is
you're putting your
evolution.
life on the line.
Career choice. Decide to flip your gift a little bit.
Hey, listen, I ain't really had too long or extensive of a street record, but you said 132.
132 for the starting salary for a federal informant. And that
You guys
is
looking
those
for a new
guys.
job?
What do I have to
would you-
know?
Yeah.
You said what I?
Yeah, if somebody came and really offered you that, yo, listen, I know that you could fit in with the people. You know who's doing what.
Are these your friends?
Yeah. If they're my friends, nah. But if it's like,
Nah,
yo,
they're like
I
associates.
want you to go and meet these people, infiltrate what they got going on X, Y, and Z. It's a job. Yo, y'all hiring? Where do I sign?
Right. That makes more sense.
I mean,
Nah,
Are you judging me?
I respect it.
I'm not judging you, but
I respect the hustle.
I personally couldn't,
That's cool.
just because of the outcome potentially.
Like what?
Somebody finding out.
You don't know these people.
I'm out of here after.
I mean, maybe I watched too much Power,
yeah.
but I'm like, yeah, nah, these motherfuckers are gonna find where I'm at.
I'm only considering how it would go in my head, like through TV experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Then again, because my anxiety, I'll tell them myself. Damn. Yeah.
Are you wearing a wire? So,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm over here like this, like just adjusting. Nah, that's crazy.
Isn't it funny how we compare real life to TV in such synonymous situations? Like,
Yep.
even
It
though
makes
it's-
sense.
Yeah, but it's like when you get in those real life situations, it's not like the TV. It's like way.
That's definitely.
Definitely
Nah,
different.
I can't agree because I lived a little life, and in the heat of the moment, like, you really stop and be like, yo, this shit is like and then when you tell it later or you talk about it
Right.
later, it's like,
Enthusiasm.
nigga, this shit is really like a movie. Really, like a real life movie.
Yeah. Yeah, life already be like a movie in a lot of different ways for me, like with the kids and
Well, yeah.
that all. So I'll leave it there. I just I don't want to be like John Wick and nothing like that. But it would be fire. It
Like
would-
a
it would
Kevin
be-
Hart movie,
right,
an
right.
Eddie Murphy type of movie.
Yeah. Like a Tyler Perry movie, maybe.
Tyler Perry.
Nah, his movies
dress.
are not the movies you want to live your life. Unless
Right.
it's a Medea situation.
Nah, I just mean like it's kind of predictable.
This
So
dude said his
my
kids and
anxiety
then
is not
Tyler
going-
Perry. And all I thought about was that man throwing the babies out the window.
Word. That's why I'm like, did you see all
I
his
didn't
movies?
I didn't see that one.
That movie. What is
What?
it? For colored women? For colored
Yeah,
girls?
for color girls.
What? That movie.
When
that
Michael
was when Tyler
Ealy
Perry was in his
dinging the baby out
bag.
the window.
He was in his bag.
Oh,
No.
I did see that.
For colored women, you say?
For
color
colored girls.
girls.
Colored girls.
Janet Jackson's in there.
did
see
everything.
that.
You know his normal cast,
Watch it
but
tonight because that's
yeah.
That was
Yeah,
over.
nah.
That was over 10 years ago, right? Like that.
Yeah,
That was an old movie.
yeah.
I seen that.
I love Tyler
And she was
Perry,
outside scrubbing
I remember.
her kid's
Yeah.
blood off
Yeah.
the sidewalk. Yeah, that's yo. Speaking, since we here,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
please.
that's actually a perfect segue because unfortunately it's been a very sad weekend. We've had a young woman, a young mother, entrepreneur, businesswoman, pass away on Friday. Unfortunately, she was in a domestic violence situation, and it ultimately costed her life. Right. Now, I mention that because I think that, I don't know, I felt compelled to speak about the lack of emotional intelligence within men, right? Because clearly that's ultimately, there's no other excuse for why something like that happens, right? And it happens too often. I can count on both hands how many times within the last 2 years, 3 years, that this same specific situation has happened in Boston, or, New England. But with that being said, why do you guys think that the lack of emotional intelligence in men is such a prevalent thing?
It's a complicated question. I think there's a few factors. I think one, well, for black men, their dads a lot of the time are not in the house, so they don't really know how to regulate their emotions as a man. They know how to regulate their emotions as a woman, and that's really conflicting for a guy to be dealing like that. Women, a lot of women, men say it all the time, are crazy. You know what I'm saying? So when we get into, emotional situations, emotions are high. I mean,
Sometimes irrational.
yeah. So it's like,
And let's not add trauma into the mix
Right.
and things that you've experienced and lived through. And your parents,
yeah,
how they were with you.
yeah,
But then I think that for women who are raising boys, alone, right? I feel like sometimes they feel a need to
spoil them.
yes, that too, but at least from what I've seen, like there's a need for them to like overcompensate, especially when we're talking about discipline, right?
Yeah.
Where they're a lot more like, all right, I have to play daddy too, and that's usually the title that daddy gets, disciplinarian, right?
Right.
Yeah, so I've seen, again, just even that, like, there's two sides to the coin. You have the side where, again, we're not taught how to regulate our emotions the proper way, but then we're also taught very aggressively how to handle
Right.
when we're upset. And I mean, that's not just a woman thing as well, obviously.
Yeah.
Because let's talk about when men are in the household as well and drunk and they've been raised a certain type of way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with suppressing feelings for so long as well, right? As a young boy, you fall down, you're told not to cry. If you scrape your knee, or if you go to a park and you get into a fight and you run home crying, usually for some of us we get sent back out. Nah, go fight.
Yeah.
Or,
Or if you don't fight him, you gonna fight me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Saying like then I think as boys grow into men, we have all these undealt with traumas, like you mentioned, from lack of fathers or even parental guidance from either side, with the understanding of how that's gonna affect that young boy growing into a man. You know what I'm saying? So like, again, suppressing, one day they're gonna snap.
Yeah.
And then we blame it on emotional or lack of emotional intelligence, when he might have been intelligent in general. But the straw that broke the camel's back, sometimes, like, again, like, it's difficult, and I hope this doesn't come off as insensitive to what happened because someone lost their life. But it's really important to like look into all factors that, none on it being her fault, but it just in that man's brain. Cause like, I feel like we're focusing on how like egregious something is and not knowing like what kind of snapped in that person's mind, if that makes sense.
That's
without taking away from what happened is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think with speaking about him, it's too late for that. I think the reason why I'm even want to have this conversation is for the next person who's out here and is going through something. It's too late for him.
That's a fact.
And maybe for me, this is insensitive, but it's... All right, so
let it breathe.
Yeah, because I'm conflicted on it. Part of me is like, it's hard to feel bad and to even think about that, but then the other side of me, who understands the situation to an extent, I'll never agree or understand with anybody going to this length, right? And that's why, again, it's important to have this conversation, because it doesn't have to get, like, it really doesn't have to get here.
Yeah,
I agree.
And I think it's important if, I was just watching something earlier, and I think it might have been like Tim Ross on like the Hardly Initiated podcast. And he was talking about how like most men who are going through something, they never express that with words, right, out loud. And when you keep that in, it's gonna show through action, essentially, right? So I think, again, just being in tune and talking, the reality of the situation, again, watching that interview, it made me realize, like, most men are really alone. Like, if you really think about it, and I'm pretty sure that I could speak for damn near every man that's in this room, right? What do? It's work, it's going home, family, kids. That's it. You hardly hang out with your friends, right? You don't feel like it's important.
Mm-hmm.
You're zoned in. You don't even have conversations like these.
Yeah.
You know, with your guys. So
Yeah.
again, when you're going through something, it's beneficial for you to find your tribe who you can communicate and speak with and express what you're going through and get that off your chest.
And I think it's hard for a lot of men to express that vulnerability within themselves, even if they have a friend group. A lot of the times it's kind of surface based. It's kind of like, okay, we're going out here, you know, we have fun, we joke a lot, you know, and it's not like, oh, but by the way, bro, I just, you know, my girl just left me yesterday. I'm feeling depressed, like yada, yada, yada. Like that's embarrassing for them for some reason. So it's like they're out and they're talking, but they're not talking about the right stuff. They're not talking about the stuff that is really, you know, hitting the meat with them. So
we obviously, it's not like that for us.
Right.
However, I wholeheartedly agree that that is definitely part of the problem for a lot of men. Again, surface levels, like that's a perfect way to describe exactly how the interactions are. You know, it's more fun than I guess anything.
What you think, Easy?
Like you said, I fully agree with the trap side of it. Coming from my generation specifically, you kind of hit the nail on the head as far as the just we was thrown in the fire. It is what it is. We, you know, the don't show emotion, and I come from a 2-family household, and that notion was still taught to me. So it came to a point where for myself, because I think I would consider myself an emotional intelligent person, but at the same time, I know that I do tiptoe around people's feelings if I care about you. Now it's always a conflicting issue when that is the thing. So at a younger age, I was a people pleaser, and so that kind of played against that in a sense. But it was very important to find the people that you can talk to about, and I found that unfortunately later on in my life, like late 20s, early 30s type of thing, and by that time I was already ruined. Straight up. I was straight up, man.
Or close to it.
Like just suppressing all those emotions from your late teens, your whole 20s, and then entering your early 30s, and then all that shit is just still weighing on your shoulders. And I mean, don't get me wrong, we walk and talk like we're normal everyday brothers, but the truth is, like, most of us, you know, there's a lot of stuff to unpack in our back of our minds, man.
That's a fact.
At the forefront of our mind.
That too.
It's not
like,
even in the back.
But you said something earlier, like when we're parents, like we don't have a kind of, we kind of put it. You have to put it in the back.
You almost
like,
have to,
like,
because you can't go home with it on you.
But then you go home with it on you.
Oh,
Right.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, where the tissue at? Where the tissue at?
Yeah, like it's real, bro. It's for myself anyway. My dad was a very compassionate person, so I could always have those conversations. But it got to a point where, you know, I was running into the same issues that I visually see him go through, and I'm just like, hey man, if I seen you go through that shit, and I'm literally making the same mistakes, obviously me coming to you is gonna do anything for me.
Yeah.
So obviously, just finding people that not only are trying to give you the right sauce, but they're trying to understand you in a more healthy manner that doesn't make you feel either alienated or like somebody's just trying to crucify you, bro. You know what I'm saying? So we need that. We need the understanding and the truth too. You know what I'm saying?
Which I think this brings us kind of close enough to segue into our topic today is how do you feel about the 50-50 conversation as it pertains to relationships? I want to say men and women, heterosexual relationships, but I'm not sure if it varies in homosexual relationships or bisexual relationships. How do you feel like, because we're talking about how I guess men can feel alienated a lot pertaining to how we grew up, what we went through in that. And how do we feel today?
Do you feel Amara's eyes on you right now?
Yeah, she's making me nervous. I'm trying to. Nah, yo, Mara, we can go outside. No, but honestly, how do we feel about the 50-50 conversation with providing? Because I think that a lot of men are struggling in that area, and we lack understanding from around.
So let's get straight to it, right?
Sure.
Ice.
The ice king.
Ice, baby.
So that's cold.
The reality of the situation is this has been an ongoing battle, like
Forever.
a war.
Yeah.
Between social media and men and women, right? And now for like a little bit of time, it's like it's the conversation that never goes away, right? We are sick and tired of that dynamic, and it's not just this conversation; it's in general. Like too often, there's a hot topic at hand that's too divisive, essentially, and neither side is hearing each other and understanding. So we wanted to have this conversation and just, again, men who can give our perspective, and then Amara's going to give hers as well. So, yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Hopefully, with understanding, on both sides.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So, your perspective.
Yes.
I'm all right. So I will say that this is a very, very delicate conversation, right?
Absolutely.
And this is just my singular perception towards it. Now, I grew up Caribbean. Those who know how that goes, they understand very vividly that.
I don't.
Oh man, it was torturous.
I'm just acting like somebody
Right,
who
it was
doesn't
torturous,
know.
but in a good way. I've never seen gender role dynamics in my household growing up. So I've seen my mother and father do everything, and there was no specific. I see my mother cook, I see my dad cook, I see my mother clean, I see my dad clean. I seen them both do everything together in a synergistic manner that kind of lightened the load for both parties.
Right.
And so the 50-50 thing is a very weird conversation for me because I've hands down off the rip, a man should provide at all times, never waver, never stop. You take care of your household, your woman, family, etc. No stop. It is what it is. But now with the weird part about this conversation now is what they said that 37% of women make more money than men nowadays, whether we like to admit it or not. It is what it is, and now it doesn't matter because I think it's always gonna lean more on the financial side than an emotional side, and we have to understand that. And a lot of us when we're trying to build in general. A lot of qualifying questions aren't being asked. And I guess when people are figuring out how people work and how they move, later on down 2 years, 3 years down the line, they're like, hold on, this is not really aligning.
Yeah, this doesn't work for me.
Yeah, like, as far as how people think, how they move, how they might parent,
Right.
it's a domino effect all across the board. And like you said earlier, trauma also spills into that also because work ethic, whether or not you work to get your money or you do other things to get your money, it is what it is. Right. But just as long as the bacon is being fried on that pan, it is what it is. But, I think when you are in a relationship and you're dealing with a woman that works and you're trying to be in the streets or hustle and all that stuff, that's when it gets a little weird because I think that you can do that at a specific age group, but then when you are a grown person, you got to go outside and get a damn job. Or you can't have 40-year-old drug dealer dreams. Like it is crazy. What it is. Like cool, hustle on the side. It is what it is. Whatever you see fit for yourself, but that can't be your main course.
Yeah, it's not sustainable.
It is what it is. No matter how you look at it, no matter how you see it. So it gets weird. But a man's a provider. It is what it is. But I think those conversations that need to be had for a better understanding of what makes me tick and what makes you tick and what motivates me and what motivates the other party should be taken more seriously. And people are ducking those conversations because I guess whether people want to admit it or not, they don't want to hear the truth about themselves. And that's pretty
Whoa.
I'm next.
Whoa. Wait, hold on. Before why'd you look at me?
What happened?
He said people don't want to know the truth about themselves.
Yo, if y'all haven't learned by now, you will
panned-
learn now. These two
And you
have smoke
panned
with each
straight
other.
to me. I happen to be
I don't work all
pretty
that.
Amar's the
self-aware.
aggressor.
What?
Facts.
She is.
What?
You're like passive aggressive.
Oh no, she's straight. She's
I ain't
straightforward.
gonna lie.
with you.
I don't know what passive aggressive really means.
It sounds nice though, right?
Yeah, but it's not like so like bully.
Yeah, it's
but
not straight on. It's like
you gotta
you're tiptoeing around,
you
but
gotta
like
see it to know that it's happening.
yeah.
That was not cool.
I thought you were gonna say something.
Nah, she said.
so I just looked over to
I was like, dang.
This look is crazy. I'm not even gonna hold you.
No, I pretty much agree with majority of what you said. I just think that there's some other dynamics.
Oh yeah, way more.
Revolving that conversation that needs to be considered. For starters, I think that I can speak for most men, and the fact that we want to be providers for a woman that we're in love with, married to, committed to. That's the perfect word, right? Mm-hmm. And we want to provide for household bills, take care of everything, right? Mm-hmm. If we had the means, we would do it. Mm-hmm. With that being said, the reality of the situation is we got to really speak about like tax brackets and what the median income is for Americans, right? And what it takes to really be able to live and provide and bills and food and all of these things. And what I'm trying to say is most people that are having these arguments really shouldn't even be in a conversation, right?
At all.
Because again, what I'm trying to say is women, us men, we hear you guys. And again, I think I can speak for most of us. We would love to be able to provide if we had the means to do so. Mm-hmm. Understood, right? Mm-hmm. Now, with that being said, fellas, there's a whole nother side, right? Instead of engaging in this conversation, which we have our theory as to why men engage. I'll let Vonnie speak on that. Not right now, but I'll let him speak on the theory in a little bit. But I think that we need to put our energy elsewhere. Instead of the conversation continuing to be, oh, if we could, it would be, it would be ideal, and we would. Mm-hmm. We need to put more energy instead of busting thumbs on fucking Instagram and TikTok and hopping on podcasts, having these conversations and saying what women are using you for and all this and all of that and whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Gold diggers. Mm-hmm. We need to put more energy into getting more of the bag, because it's feasible, number one. It's possible. Mm-hmm. And again, sitting back, having this discussion about what we would do and could do.
It's not getting us anywhere.
Right.
We're going to be having the same conversation in 5 years.
That's a fact.
Same conversation. And it's like, bro, all this time we could have figured out a way to shake and bake. And
Yeah.
Can I ask you a qualifying question before we move on to the next? Obviously, with that, I seen a Instagram reel earlier, kind of saying what you say just now. A gentleman basically was saying that men we're so stuck on love so early in our 20s and stuff like that we forget about our financial progression sometime. And I think that has a lot to do with how we were raised, whether we love some guys that just love the boys. It is what it is, and there's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But then thinking about wanting to start families early in our 20s and things like that. Mm-hmm. I think for me that was my mistake. Mm-hmm. And
20s.
Yeah, like for real.
That's a 16-year-old father.
Yeah, I got 18-year-old.
I was 18. Yeah,
I was 15.
I definitely I made that mistake of thinking that I could do that while trying to build a family while I'm working on my financial stance as a young man at that time. Yeah. And so even though I had great careers, I had great jobs and all that stuff, I felt like I was on a treadmill.
When somebody says stick a pin there or whatever, what
stick
does
a
that
pin
mean?
in it.
Yeah.
It means hold that thought. We're gonna get back to that.
Right.
Yeah, hold that thought because I want to talk about parenting too. Mm-hmm. I like that. I like where you was going with that.
Yeah.
Vonnie, this theory, actually, because you just hit some shit, right? When you're talking about the guy and what he was saying in the reel. theory, sir.
Was there a question in there? My fault.
Because I was just playing in my head what he was saying.
I have a bunch. But I mean, to piggyback off of, again, starting a family early, and not to go too far back to our initial conversation with men feeling a lack of affection within the home, which leads us to start finding that love or looking for love so young.
I could agree with that.
And then attaching ourselves to it.
Yep.
And then once that goes, if it goes, that doesn't work out, we attach to something else that feels just as good or better.
But then you insert the lack of emotional intelligence into that, and then it probably love went away because of how you was reacting and acting. And
because again, I got married at 18 years old. I was still in high school when I got married. I had a kid on the way. And then my kid came, I graduated, then I had another child 3 years after. So like, and I was 21 before I had my second child, and I wasn't thinking about buying a house. I was thinking about a job that could afford Pampers and the essentials to my knowledge at that moment as a kid still. I don't care if I was over 18, I was still a kid.
Your cerebral cortex doesn't form until 25 anyway.
Say it again into the microphone.
Your cerebral cortex doesn't form until you're 25.
Oh, yep. That's a big word.
Your brain.
Part of your
Your brain.
cerebral cortex is crazy. But so like, I agree that we're not even thinking, a lot of times we're not thinking about our financial progress so early on to where we find ourselves, I think, at a disadvantage because we're trying to make more money with more responsibility at that time, as opposed to being able to make the money, save the money, invest the money, build the money, and now we can start a family.
And I think that people hate this side of it, but I think that heavily has to do with our parents, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think people hate it because sometimes it feels like a cop-out, and that's not in any type of way, shape, or form what I'm trying to do here. Yeah. But it's more so for the people who are parenting young kids now, us, right? I think that it's very important for us to think about what we teach. First of all, what we know, because you can only teach what you know, right? So we should think about what we know in regards to financial literacy, because reality of the situation is we're having this conversation because there's some problems. And
a lot of problems.
You know? So yeah, we have that conversation and teach them, do what they got to do, and I lost.
I mean, I think to go back to the conversation of the 50-50 is, like you said, Trip, I believe that most men would say, I want the ability, or if I had the ability to take care of everything, then they would do it without a second thought, without complaining, without feeling like, what about me? Because we want to take care of things, like by nature, we want to. I think that what gets lost for a lot of men in this conversation is the woman response to our lack to provide fully in that capacity. Because now it's not like, hey, hold on, before I lose this, before we even get to a point where we can take care of everything or want to take care of everything, we want a partner who makes us feel like we're not alone in it. So that if I am lacking today, McDonald's is on you today. And she has no problem with doing that because right now I just don't have it. But it's a lot of the women who ain't. They're like, what?
You supposed to do everything.
You supposed to. Yeah. Right. That's where I think the heads are clashing in this conversation. It's the women who don't, the ones who don't.
I'm actually glad that you said that.
I didn't say it.
The ones who don't have the understanding or even desire to understand. Because you cannot understand, that's fine. But do you want to understand? Because that's where the conversation can actually evolve.
I think that's like the perfect little disclaimer at the bottom of what I said. Because, again, yes, we want to, and we talked about this. Yeah. But yes, we want to. However, we do want to, know that, one, you can do if necessary, right? You can grow the money, right? You could, what they call it, steward the money. All of that stuff matters. And then investments is another conversation, right? Because when we speak about this conversation, ultimately, I mean, at least from what I see in my perspective, is it's a conversation that's based on obviously bills and lifestyle is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Car, hair, house, ring.
But I mean, I know you said like a lot of men want to provide, but a lot of them don't.
Well, the only reason why I'm gonna entertain this part of the conversation is because as you was talking, I was thinking, we're saying one thing, which is we understand, and yes, we do. However, we don't have. But in the comment section, that's not.
You know why?
Clearly
You know
explained.
why? Because
Which is why I want the theory.
entitlement exists in the comment section.
Exactly.
It's you have to.
Yep.
No, I don't. I can decide to be single and take care of me for the rest of my life.
You can.
And if you're waiting on someone to take care of you, then you're stuck where you're at. And I'll just continue to go by myself. I don't have to take care of somebody. I want to.
I think another important factor is these conversations are between like daters, like
Yeah.
boyfriend and girlfriend.
It's definitely like the bottom of the totem.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you're dating and that's what you're expecting.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I think one of the conversations that's been happening is the whole date thing. When you take a young lady out on a date, some men expect you to pay for it. I don't really get the sentiment of that. I mean, do you think that a woman should be paying half of the bill when you take her out the first time?
No. If I initiate the date. If I want to take you out, I'm taking you out.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
That's that. However, again, if you
I
reach
forgot
out
you
to
the
me,
prize, honey.
yeah, if you reach out to me and you be dating and you want to take me out, so be it. But the 50-50 as far as dates, first dates and all of that. Now, there might be times where we in the trenches and
I'm about to say.
listen, all we got is I got 25, you got 25, let's.
Let's make it shake.
There's been plenty of times where I ain't
But even that though, right? That's another part of the
We was talking
conversation.
about this the other day.
Because like, again, the financial literacy side. If that is the situation, you guys probably shouldn't be going out.
Right.
That's a fact. That's a fact. But
But what?
I mean, sometimes you got to treat yourself a little bit, even if you live in a car and stuff. Like you might got to go out like a little bit to have a good night.
If you're living in your car?
I'm playing a little bit, but nah. But I'm saying like all right, again, if it's not in my capacity to, you know what I'm saying, go to McDonald's and we both get a meal today, then like Wendy's 4 for $4 might be on the docket.
The 4 for $4s are good.
That's
better
bomb, and you
than-
get everything.
Right.
And you get the nuggets. This is not an ad.
Well, it's not 4 for $4 anymore. It's a biggie bag
It's
now.
a biggie bag,
It is
right?
a big. No, they still got the
$5 biggie
4
bag.
but it's just the
No, they took it
cheeseburger.
off.
It's just a
It's
cheeseburger.
$5.
Everything else is biggie bag.
I told y'all, we had this argument. It's still up there, ain't it?
It's still up there, but
both
it's just a junior
Maybe it's
cheeseburger.
out
You don't
there
get
where
to
y'all
choose.
live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my kids,
Right, so they ain't
my
in my
kids get
Wendy's.
the 4 for $4. I get the biggie
The
bag.
one on
Stop
American
playing with
Legion,
me.
they don't let you get nothing for $4. I'll let you know that right now.
For real?
No.
Oh, they trash.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what was I saying? Shoot. So yeah, like again, like sometimes I think like there's times where I want to go out and we know we ain't got it. If we're together, we know we don't got it. And it's like, yo, you wanna half it? And she may even say it. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. I'm not like, yo, you trying to go half. It's when she's like, yeah, you wanna? I'm like, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, that's somebody that you're locked in with.
Right.
But I guess the conversation is like women. I don't know. It's a weird conversation because you have women that do be like, or feel like rather, yeah, I'll do that. Like if that's what it is, that's what it is. But then again, this conversation, and maybe it just might be a platform where people could express their wildest dreams.
Do you think broke people should be dating?
Dating?
I think love's for everybody.
Yes.
Just date within your means.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna look different.
I do think here's what. All right, so
Cause I've been
Damn.
broke. I've been broke, and I was always dating.
yeah,
Who
but
are you dating?
think about this. Think about this though. Hold
You said
on.
who?
Yeah.
Like
Think
a
about
name?
how much
No.
further
Like,
you could be within your journey if you focused a little bit more of this time and attention on
on
yourself.
yourself. Yeah.
Of course.
That's why, like,
Yeah.
they say, like, you know, the whole dating while broke shouldn't be a thing because you got bigger fish to fry.
Right.
Oh,
You got-
that's a fact. that goes back to our earlier conversation of wanting affection so young, like yearning for affection. As young men, we're like, yo, I just want to be loved. I want a hug. I don't want to have to ask for it all the time. Like, so we attach ourselves to relationships.
I don't necessarily think that it's the worst thing either, though. I think that, again, if you find somebody that's on the same speed as you, you guys can make something happen. But
no, you shouldn't be
only
dating
if
up.
you are. Yeah.
You shouldn't be dating up.
I mean, let's talk about that.
Well.
That's a whole nother conversation in itself. All right, so I just want to clarify, right? 50-50.
Yes.
Actually, you didn't really say much.
Right. I mean, I definitely
You had a
wanna
lot to
hear
say.
I did, because we're not talking about what you guys are saying. You guys are y'all are tiptoeing it. So I'm
No,
like,
we're not.
A
We
little
said
bit.
exactly.
Okay, go ahead. What's up?
Yeah, drop a Looney Tune anvil on us.
No, remind me on what we said.
You guys were saying that basically you guys are okay with being the one that's home, not making.
Oh, nah.
That's a whole.
Fry you up.
Did you?
No.
not?
That was
said
part of the
that.
conversation.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like
you were
that.
so,
No.
you were so busy
Yeah,
going
no.
against me.
There's more context to that. She would put a. That's a nice little clip.
Y'all was saying y'all want to be at the crib not doing nothing. That was like a later thought. That was,
You said what were one of the things? That was one of them.
all right, go, but start with the big ones and then go like, cause the first thing you name takes priority. So like, we wasn't just like, yo, we want to be at the crib. Like that wasn't. No, I said that.
All right, let me ask Amara this.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm gonna shut up too because you didn't finish your thought. My fault.
It's masculine for a woman to be the breadwinner.
Is it masculine for the woman to be the breadwinner, like she's paying for most of the stuff? What do you mean by that?
Her income.
I don't think it's masculine for her to be the breadwinner. I think that it's masculine for her not to be in her feminine and taking care of the household duties while you're doing nothing.
But taking care of the household duties.
So do you believe in
I
gender
mean,
roles?
are you still expecting the woman to clean up the dishes, take care of the kids,
Case by case.
bear your
basis.
children?
Like physically,
yeah,
yes.
I'm like-
yes, of course. I can't do it.
Right.
Well,
Right.
I would. I do expect her to
That's
have.
exactly my point. I like
do
that. That was
expect
smooth.
her to have this.
She said, you pick up what I'm putting down.
No, but nah,
Nah,
we
what?
can't. Because we are physically incapable. of
Okay, so no, let's talk about it because we had this conversation before too, and I don't like that you're saying that now for men because we're talking about men, right?
Yeah.
But we definitely had a conversation that had to do with women being at home, right?
Yeah.
And men being the provider, getting out there, getting to the bag, bringing it home.
Yep.
You specifically
Okay.
expressed the fact of, well, we still want help too at home. We still want for you guys to come, take care of things, help with the kids, dishes, all of these things.
But
right?
when we were talking in that context, the woman was still working. It wasn't like she was just at home, chilling.
How you remember that conversation?
That wasn't it.
That wasn't the conversation?
Nah, no, that wasn't a conversation. That wasn't a conversation.
Man.
Our conversation was a lot more black and white than it was gray. So it was a lot more this or that as opposed to like us sharing the
No, there was a lot of
responsibility.
duality that you guys
I think
were speaking.
duality.
We were
I think
introducing-
duality.
We were
is-
introducing it for the sake of the
proper way.
conversation, but it's also like we talked about. Like I said, like I wouldn't if Shorty was the breadwinner and because of her work schedule, and she made way more, and she's like, "Yo, listen, this bag is about to be crazy for us and our family. Would you like, you want to stay home and do like the, take care of the kids, drop them off to school, X, Y, and Z, practice, whatever it takes?" And I'm like, well, you're making the bread. This still has to get done. I'm not weighing what's more important because this doesn't get done if I'm not there or she's not there.
And to speak to that, I think that that's okay, but in a sense of how men are, I mean, I'm not going to say all men, but a lot of men are threatened by women that make more than them.
But
And
why? Let's ask why.
The why is a lot of times is because the women who are making more money, and I want women to feel empowered in who they are, but they emasculate the man because they're making more money. So the man naturally is going to feel emasculated, not just because he's not making enough, but if she makes him feel like he's not doing enough because he's not making enough, then he's going to respond that way.
Which is why that 50-50 conversation is even a thing, right? That was part of the theory. Because you guys feel a way about something, and instead of expressing, well, no, I would like to be taken care of by my man and live in my, what do you say, feminine power and all of that. Those
Soft life.
yeah, so you know, all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mind went blank.
Oh, okay.
It just goes to show what he was really saying, that when they did the census from COVID to now, originally I remember 2 years ago being around the late 20s, like 27%, but then now it's like almost 50 that women are just financially gapping men now.
And I tried to find that on Google, and I really couldn't.
It's
Because you know what it's saying now? It's saying that black men are outpacing black women.
right
I thought
now.
it was the opposite when we had this conversation.
On a business note, but if you just look at the grand scheme across America, people just working regular jobs, not even career, just
No, they
looking
said on
regular.
average.
So it's a little weird. It's a little weird.
So I think there's a little bit of misinformation.
I just think that, like, again, we're talking about the 50-50 conversation and it being like a lower, like, tax bracket conversation, right? So for me, even for the ones who feel entitled in that conversation, the women who feel entitled in that conversation have to remember where they are as well. And this is not a situation where you're not responsible for bringing anything to the table. So a lot of men who feel like 50-50 is like, because I'm not going to do everything. And especially with today, let's just acknowledge, if we're doing gender roles, man works, woman stays home. A lot of women aren't cooking today. A lot of men are.
I don't know nothing about that. If you think,
I just don't like the gender role
me.
thing in general. And this is why I said, like, duality is important, because
That's what I'm saying.
for either person to have to do the job 100%, it's very taxing. It's a lot. I just think that being each other's help and just being in tune, like,
Yes. In whatever way you need the assistance. Because one day, again, I might be super affectionate, and it don't have to be finances. Like, I might be super affectionate, and today I'm at a 70, she's at a 30. We have to know how to compensate or accommodate each other in that area. Like, so if that's finances, if that's intimacy, whatever it is, there has to be a accommodation between y'all. Y'all are partners.
I feel like sometimes, a lot of the times, it falls on women, though.
In what way?
As far as intimacy, as far as emotional intelligence in the relationship, as far as, you know.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think that. You think it is true?
Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
You don't.
I don't either. I think it's far the opposite.
Really?
I don't think it's far the opposite either. I think that there's probably a healthy balance of women who lead when we're talking about intimacy and all of that stuff, and romance and everything. Right. But there's women who also are like, ew.
Yeah, there's women that are like, ew, but how often is that?
You'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I think that you hear conversations and, like, a lot of and I know we were talking earlier about, like, TV, seeing a lot of the, like, you know, things play out on TV or whatever, but you hear a lot of conversations about married couples in therapy, because she just won't initiate sex, or she just doesn't want. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Intimacy is more than sex.
I understand that. I'm
Right.
using this as an argument point. And sex is within the realm of intimacy.
Right.
So that can even be dates. A lot of times women want to go on dates, but she feels like he has to initiate. Yo, I want to take you out. Well, if I'm responsible for initiating the sex because I want it, but I'm also responsible for initiating the date because you want it, and where in this are you responsible for taking charge in any of these areas?
Communication.
Right. Where is that happening if it's not happening? That's what I'm saying. If it's not happening, if I have to be the one to say, hey, I want to take you out, even if I don't because you want to go out, maybe you should come up to me and say, hey, even if you don't, because you know I do. That's not happening.
I think that's a problem in itself too, because I feel like we should just do more. I feel like we do a lot less majority of the time.
Like across the board?
Yeah, and I mean for both sides.
Yeah, I
both
agree.
men and women.
I agree.
I mean, I can speak for myself. I know sometimes I can get in my bag of being extremely critical on what you ain't doing.
Yep.
But I forget that, damn, I'm kind of lacking over here myself.
Yep. I've been there.
So again, if we just spend a lot more time hyper focusing on how could I show up and be better,
Yeah.
and do more and make you feel seen and heard and all of that stuff, I think we'll see a difference.
Yeah, I've embarked on that journey several times, and it does feel better in that way. Like it works out way better in that way. I also think that it's important for couples to acknowledge their strengths and weaknesses. So like, I've been with people. I'm trying to be like, I'm trying to be
anonymous.
That's the word. But I've been in situations where, again, I'm excessively sexual, or like I'm a big flirter, where she don't flirt like that, and I'm like, okay, cool, I understand that. But there were times where I was expecting her to match
your energy,
or not to match, but to initiate, because I wanted that. But I had to realize, well, that's my strength. It's not her strength, and yes, she can get better, but I have to acknowledge where she's strong at that I'm not, which is like finances. So I might be like, hey, can you you know what I'm saying? Like I have to recognize where I think the strengths and the weaknesses are in a relationship, and then those expectations are like they should change a little bit based on like not just what you want from it, but what you know that she's like, what she's good at.
When you guys initially started dating, was that something that you didn't like about her?
What?
That she wasn't flirtatious?
No. Because I think in the beginning, it's never really, I think it's a false representation for a lot of people.
That's facts.
In the beginning, it's
both sides.
Yeah, both sides. Because in the beginning, I had it. I was like, what you want?
You always overcompensate.
I love 200. I counted like, flipped it over, counted it again.
That's an issue. That's an issue within dating too.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not showing up 100% yourself.
No,
Yeah,
it's
but then it's like you're introducing them to a vibe that you can't maintain.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't even say that, bro. I would say that it's understanding of love language. Because I think financial situations could change at any time. It could be up or down, period, when it comes to money. But as far as your level of intimacy on a personal level goes, it's your love language. Now, like you said, within the dating scene, it does do that, because the first 90 days, you're kind of trying to be on your best behavior, trying to make sure that you get what I'm saying? But then when it gets to that time when y'all really trying to vibe, understand each other, get to that real...
I think we're about to have another conversation.
Mara's over here doing math right now. She's like 90
that
days.
real intimate level with each other.
Because...
like, you really got to ask those qualifying questions, like, for instance...
Right, but did you guys decide that you guys are going to be in this relationship in these 3 months?
No. That's if are you
guys having sex
in 3
months? Come on,
we're gonna get to that bridge. But
happens.
I think
a lot.
Wait.
We're in a different conversation now.
But hold on, let me just finish. But all I'm saying is, like, what understanding of love language and the generality of it is the most important understanding of it.
You gotta, I mean, so technically you can meet somebody today and ask them what is their love language. Chances are they probably don't know, but you can have that conversation early and figure it out. However, oftentimes we're just oblivious to. And
you're not dating with intention.
Exactly. Right. That's really the reality.
That's the whole entire point.
A lot of the times you guys aren't dating to marry these people.
And that's the craziest part about all of these conversations. It's like if people were if we were a lot more intentional with what we decide to invest ourselves in, it would be so different. Obviously, there'd still be learning curves and bumps and stuff, but like we would
intentional and honest, because like you said, people pleaser. Like my mom raised me on there's no future in people pleasing. And for whatever reason,
you said, we'll see.
I was, I said, word, I'm gonna test it out anyway.
Right.
And I just went on pleasing everything. And I realized, again, like not dating with intention, to where I found myself with people that I was like, we're not compatible.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't even like you for real.
Right.
Like, I've been there. When you tell yourself that in your head,
is that something that you didn't like?
But you just can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't just.
But then you're there. It's been a year and a half.
You're compelled to just.
Hey yo, I can't. Like, yo, listen, it's not working. I'm out. I don't have that.
Quantity over quality. You know, I mean, quality over quantity. So that year and a half.
Just kidding.
I mean,
I'm just kidding.
Unfortunately, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
you know
no, that's a fact.
You have so many other years to worry about.
I think people really aren't having them real, genuine, heart-to-heart qualifying questions when you are genuinely being intentional.
You know what?
I feel like, yeah, 1,000%. Like, and people aren't being real. Like that's just really.
Hey, this 50-50 conversation can really kind of go into the emotional aspect too.
Oh yes.
Because I think it's so difficult, and I think it's not for women. Woo.
You've been being good today.
Nah, I'm not your
On your best
No,
behavior.
but I'm saying, like, I feel like a lot of times I found myself being dishonest in relationships because of the reaction that I was going to get from my honesty. So, like, if I told, like, it's like just tell me the truth, and, like, we'll have that conversation or blah, blah, blah. Tell the truth, and now you got a frying pan getting thrown at your head. You got duck stuff. You got.
I mean, at that point, call the police. But
right, but
or leave.
But it's right, or leave. But it's what happens, and a lot of times I find myself. I'm gonna take accountability, trying to, or avoiding those conversations to avoid the aftermath of it.
Well, then you're gonna start avoiding that relationship. So where's that gonna get you?
No, for sure. I'm just saying, like, I'm just kind of bringing that up to the whole. Again, like emotional intelligence. I know we had touched on it. I think more times than not, men who are doing what they want, whatever the case is, like if they have a conscience, if they have some kind of conviction, they feel like, oh, I want to have that conversation with her. I know.
Do you think that social media plays a big part in this?
And what?
Yes.
As far as,
I think yeah. Because now everybody gonna know about it.
Yeah.
Right, so everyone's gonna know. We're probably gonna end up getting into a fight. After this, we're not even gonna really
Public
have
perception.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and we're not even gonna reach any understanding, because sometimes, like, I've had conversations with people who their level of maturity was there, to where my infidelity in that relationship or situation, whatever the case was kind of understood, and not like a pat on the back, but it was like, yo, I know that you're a good person, and I know that you're hurting because of what you did to me. Other situations.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. When you compare both of those situations, did either or change you?
Yes.
Which one?
Not in the way that maybe it should have. Or no, the way that it should have, but maybe not in the way that I think societal norms would want it to. Like, it didn't change me to where, like, now I never made another mistake. It changed me in a sense of, there are people who understand. Because, again, nobody I'm not saying nobody. A lot of people don't want to suck, like, or be, like, hurtful to people. Right. So, like, but some of us, we have this impulse to, again, affection, sex, a lot with pornography addiction and all that shit. Like, so
sex addiction.
Yeah. So a lot of us have that impulse to where it's like, and after you're like, I know you probably relate. After you're like, bro, I just wasted this sin, right? Like, I wasted my energy, my sexual exclusivity with this person that I really don't want, because I was horny at the time and I just didn't have the wherewithal to stop myself in the moment. And I got to go and explain
towards like the later side, yeah. When I was younger,
I've had conviction for a long time. I just didn't listen to it. So, like, I felt like crap about myself for a very long time.
I used to be guilty of beating myself up too, just being like, it is what it is.
And it's like, but I've had, again, situations where I could have that conversation with somebody who had emotional intelligence to know enough to know, like, Trip's like, nah.
No, I'm just thinking.
I've been in situations, well, not a few, but, I've been in a situation where somebody cheated on me and I understood why, and yada, 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 you told me the truth. But that still didn't, even though I understood, I still had the boundary to not deal with it.
Absolutely.
And I think that even if she understood, I feel like you were more prone to telling her the truth because she stayed with you. And I think that's dangerous.
Nah, but we didn't stay together.
Oh, well then.
No.
Y'all didn't break up right then and there, did you? You tried still, right?
Nah. We didn't. We messed around because, we had like a little, there was a attachment.
Yeah.
Yes, attachment. But yeah, after that point, like, nah, there wasn't a desire.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right.
So is that why I'm lying?
Nah.
No.
Oh, I'm like, dang, like, I'm talking about I'm lying? Like, damn. No, it was more so, I just felt validated, which is weird, and it feels selfish to say that because I was the one who did the wrong.
Right. No, but it's because, you're speaking from a perspective of somebody that, like, one, you acknowledge the fact that I have a problem, right? It's not just something I'm doing because it's something to do.
Right.
Although it could seem like that, but like obviously
Absolutely, yeah.
it's a lot deeper than this.
Oh, yeah.
And that's something I've been saying a lot recently. It's like, yo, if people could just validate how somebody else is feeling, doesn't mean that they're right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All you have to say
Just
is,
means you understand.
I could understand.
I can understand
Because of
yeah.
your circumstances and things that you've experienced, this is how you think, your views are on the situation. I could see that.
Yeah.
It goes so far. It's just like, all right, bet. At least somebody hears me.
Yeah.
Somebody sees me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So, I mean, again, like, and I don't know how that completely ties into 50-50, but for me, it kind of does only because of the emotional intelligence conversation to where I know we were talking about men lacking emotional intelligence. And I think we just suppress it. We have it. We suppress it because we're not allowed to exercise it.
Yeah.
Well,
We're not
I
allowed
don't
to
think that
use
that's
a lot.
it. I think that we don't have it. I say that because and obviously this isn't just for every man, but
Yeah.
majority of the time, right?
Yeah.
How we are raised is that, I mean, at least from what you're saying, what I feel like you're saying is that we have emotions. We just don't know, and we know how we feel or whatever. We just don't know how to express it. And I don't think that that's it.
I don't think you know. I don't think a lot of men don't know.
No, I think a lot of men know how they feel. I think that they don't know how to acknowledge how they feel. I know that I'm upset. I know that my feelings are hurt. I know that this and that, but we don't take the time to say, you know what, instead of me cussing you out and smack you upside your head and drag you down the street or whatever the case is, my feelings are hurt. You entertained the dude at the restaurant a little bit too much. I felt like he was a little too friendly, and it just made me feel lousy at that moment. Instead, it's rage. It's betrayal. It's
But
you stupid
no,
bitch.
and I agree. But I believe a lot of that has to do with, and I don't want to like pawn off accountability from us to somebody else. But a lot of that does have to do with how we're received when we're voicing that, because there's times where we voice that, and now we're insecure. Are you insecure?
I agree.
And now it's bro, I can't.
And that's
even
what you're
come
saying.
to
Like the 50-50 comes in. Like,
I can't even come.
You
to
have to
calm, collected, and articulate exactly what it is that I feel right now. I felt like you were kind of flirting a little bit with old boy at the bar, and it made me feel a little inadequate, or like I'm like, you know what I mean? Like you ain't even flirt with me. Like I got dressed in front of you. You wasn't even looking at.
You ain't even.
You see what I'm saying? So like,
say I have a nice outfit.
and now it's like, oh, like what, him? Well, don't do that because I was there, right? So don't. Act like
I'm okay with him, right? Because, and I was telling you this the other night. I think that if women learn how to stroke our egos the right way, man, you can get us to freaking climb mountains, right?
You could get us to pull a star out the fucking sky.
But if there has to be a healthy balance, right?
Yeah.
If you could also hold us accountable too,
you
can get us to move mountains.
That's a fact.
And if that is in the forefront of a woman's mind, where it's like, all right, him?
Yeah, but
look at you.
That's so manipulative.
But
it is right. But I mean, in a sense, because
it is if she was really flirting with him.
There's times where
maybe she just has a flirtatious tone.
I would know as her man.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
So like,
No.
it's either
maybe, but maybe not.
I should.
You should, yes.
I should know her enough to know how she interacts.
But let's be real. People just
don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know who. I mean, and that falls on both sides.
Yeah.
Half the time people are faking it. And then half the time people are blinded by.
Yeah. ABC, XYZ, it is.
Yeah. Dang, I don't know, man.
No, like you hit the nail on the head about. I mean, it's kind of, this is a cliche saying, but it's like women knowing how to speak to the king in you, right? Now, don't get me wrong. You, it is manipulation, no matter how you look at it, right?
it is,
It is, but it's a combination of stroking your ego, and getting what the fuck you want out of me at the same time.
Right.
Yes, I like that because I've made that argument rather recently. And I was like, yo, you could definitely get me to do what you want. Like, all you got to do is.
I said the same thing. I had the same
Have
conversation.
you ever
right here
noticed
on
that
the
women
shoulder.
that understand that specific notion of
acknowledge.
themselves, they all become sex workers? Not all of them, but some of them, because they understand how to get in a man's head and make him do anything. And at that point, oh God, you make it.
Or a sugar
Here's all my
baby.
money. You get what I'm saying?
Why'd you flinch when he said sex worker?
Cause what?
Well, it's the truth. Like, hey, if we're going
At first, I was a little lost, but like
now, if we're putting,
when you really think about it,
that's what I'm saying.
that's why the hotlines back in fucking early 2000s, you know, the sex lines, because they had the gift of gab.
That's,
Yeah.
man, get the
Speaking
voice.
there,
God damn.
Like,
I mean, sex work is, you know, I
Vonnie
don't think you
said
have to
something-
go that route, but
no, it's just once a woman, I feel like, I come from a different generation, so this might seem a little vulgar, but as far as back then, when I sit down to have conversations with, because some of them are friends and understanding like why they angle themselves, and I'm like, yo, you're literally a female pimp. Right, and what you're able to get in men's heads and manipulate them like that to make them do anything for you like that, and that's ill. That's ill as hell.
Yeah.
But then it just goes to show that some women, not all, but some women really understand how to.
you know, play that violin.
Yeah.
It's ill until
Puppet master.
She
you use it bad.
You're the victim, but
until you go upside down.
I think it's a dangerous game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think it's a dangerous
It's
game.
good until it's bad.
Right.
You
So
know.
you get one
I
mostly
agree.
unintelligent man, and
I agree. It's definitely manipulation, and I think that
You're gonna need that
manipulation isn't
restraining
always a
order.
bad thing.
It's not. It's like
always a bad
narcissists. Like
yeah.
it is.
Yeah, because that's not always a bad thing.
it's not always a bad thing. I think we all want things to go in our favor just a little bit, you know?
Yeah, and we should think highly of ourselves.
Yes.
We should.
Everybody should have a little bit of narcissism in them.
Yeah.
A little bit.
A little bit,
dose.
not too much.
Yeah.
You had
Don't
said
go too
something
far.
earlier about your mom instilling something in you when you was a child.
Yeah, no future and people pleasing.
Yeah, and then you turned around and did it, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a perfect segue into this next topic.
Yeah.
Because obviously we all are parents, right? Some of us had kids teenage years, right? What, or long time ago, over 10 years, almost 15 years ago, if not teenage. What would you say is the difference in the parent that you were then and now? Because you also have a toddler.
I didn't know shit from shinola. Nothing. I thought.
Nun The Wizer.
And the sad part was that I don't know why, because I thought I watched my parents do all that, still stick it together 41 years, and them handle everything in such a just peaceful, synergistic way, and when it came to parenting specifically, I'm like, oh, that's easy. I could do that. That was it. No. I know.
Yeah.
And also, I think the most important part for me anyway was, I think for them, even though they had to deal with undercutting racism and things like that from their specific generation growing up, we didn't really have to experience the forefront of that. But I think getting money and stuff like that was just way easier for them. Like, in the financial situations, obviously things cost less. You could actually get out of high school and buy a fucking house with $3,000.
Go to college, $12,000.
You get what I'm saying? Like, it just everything was
Harvard.
just financially things were just differently. So when I started just
$1 man more.
like I was saying earlier, I was making $25 an hour back in the early 2000s, and that was a lot of money back then. You know what I'm saying? But still, in all, with taking care of all the bills, taking care of this, taking that, I felt like I was just literally running on the treadmill as fast as I can, but I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
But yeah, I sucked at it at the beginning, and the way I parent now versus back then in my early 20s, like night and day difference.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time.
All the time. My oldest is 13 and my youngest is 5. So my 13-year-old, I mean, I never had a dad, so he always had my attention. So that was a good thing, like where I was always like accessible. But just even like with the spankings, you know what I mean? Like just like small stuff.
Lack of emotional intelligence.
Yeah, and just lack of I was spanked. I was all right, I thought. So it's like, again, just kind of continuing, the same cycle that most of us have dealt with. And today, it being a lot different. Like, I remember one time I was talking to my kids. Oh, no, my kids was playing in the house. And they loud as hell. And I bust through the room. Like, yo, sit down. Right? And it was just like, Dad, we're just playing.
Right. So, you know.
And I was like,
okay.
I'm out of here. I'm like, all right, my bad. You're right. Because the one thing I have to do is say, sorry, my bad.
Sorry.
And you're right. I'm validating. Nope, you're right. I'm wrong. Y'all go back to playing. Because I was raised, yo,
don't be seen or
that
heard.
volume, if it's over like 3 decibels, it's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I still feel like that as far as volume.
You
like,
heard him. He played Chinese school with his kids.
No, me and my brother used to play with wrestlers, right? Back when like WWF, before it was WWE.
The ring and everything.
And bro, we used to like whisper, like, "Oh my god!" Like we would never raise our volume up, bro. Like, and even if we whispered a little too loud, my mom would bust through the door. Like,
that's all.
I told y'all keep it down.
That's all.
She's a fun police. I'm like, bro.
Telling you,
I be playing with them.
Yeah.
You're a big kid.
Yeah. So now, bro, we got Nerf guns.
Yeah,
right? Bro. I'll put the
lights off.
The lights, yeah. The
Bro,
lights that Rob gave me. Yo, Rob, the lights that you gave me, I put them joints in the crib. One in this corner, one in that corner. If you get if you're on the purple side, purple team, red side, red team, and we just shoot each other.
Your house sound fun.
That's literally what,
bro. What?
But you got a gang.
Yeah, I got 3 of them things.
Yeah.
3 of them things. Great.
Yeah, they fire.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I wanted to talk about this whole parenting thing because I mean I agree. Obviously, it's literally night and day.
Yeah.
I've learned so much, and as time goes on, I'm still realizing that I don't really know much about this parenting thing, and it's just fun every single day to just learn something new. Especially with the little one, like she never freaking ceases to amaze me. It's the most simplest things that I just be wowed at, right? Now, with that being said, my other kids are 14 and about to be 8. And
some grown kids.
Yeah, grown. So here's a part of like learning, right, as you go. My daughter did some shit this past week that initially hearing about it, like I want to whip some ass, like her ass and other people's ass and all of that. Like everybody's getting it, you know. And like hearing about what's going on from her mom, I'm lost for words. Like I'm feeling all kind of emotions, like. And I'm just like, you know, I don't even want to talk to her right now. I really don't know how to feel. I sat on it. And then between last night and today, I'm watching Mike Todd, Tim Ross. If you guys don't know, they church and The Basement. Transformation Church, Tim Ross, The Basement. Fire on YouTube podcast.
Definitely missing.
I'm just listening, and there was something that one of them said. I took some notes, and it just hit me. I'm just like, wow. So I called my daughter. Instead of just being upset and angry and lack of emotional intelligence, as we keep speaking about.
Yeah.
Let me see. You guys can keep talking when I find. Wow. It's coming up.
So, well, I don't have any grown kids.
Well, how was it like for you from the? How old was your son? You have a
He's
son,
6.
right? Yep. So how have you changed as a parent from 0 to 6?
I think that I think I still have a lot of growing to do. To speak very transparently, I think that I have a lot of traits from my mother and father, traits that I hate, and I'm trying to kind of work through them. Every year I try to get better, but my dad was work. Barely saw him on holidays. I didn't really know him. My mom, she was a young mom. She got pregnant with me. I think she was 21. She was outside with her friends. I was at grandma's house. I was, you know, and it's not that I didn't like being there. I love being there. But, you know, it wasn't really like people were looking for me. And I was always the easy child. Nobody really had to check for me. It's like, oh, I don't really have to worry about her. Like, you know, she got it. She'll figure it out. I find myself, I'm overly working. You know, I try to, you know, take off time, but it's just like, I feel like it's not enough. It's like, he'll be like, oh, are you off work yet? Like, no, well, mommy's going to work a little longer today because he doesn't care about that. Like, he wants to see his mom, like, especially because, you know, obviously me and his dad are not together. So it's like the responsibility is on me. Yeah. So I think that, you know, the older I get, the more I still want to make money. Obviously, I'm the, you know, the sole provider for him. So I still have to do that. But I'm trying to find a way to kind of balance it. And sometimes it's a little frustrating because, you know, the bills still have to get paid, especially in Massachusetts. But I think that, yeah, exactly. I think that, you know, every day is, you know, a struggle within myself, I think, as far as being, you know, a single mom.
Well, I want to say that I feel like I know you a lot more now. And I'm sorry if I ever... Nah, that was dope. That was dope. You definitely have a lot of growing to do, though. Yeah. Just as a person. Yeah. Not even like a parent. I think you're a great parent, but as a person...
As a person? You can go.
That's just like...
I don't know where that note is. I can't find it. But basically, again, instead of me being super, like, angry, as I probably would have been a couple years ago, and telling her about herself and taking everything, which still might happen, punishment, you know, consequences. Right. I just told her, like, yo, your past mistakes don't define your future and who you could be, right? You know, so instead of going to school, your head down and feeling like, you know, the world's against you, tomorrow go to school, your head held high. It's a new day for you to start, you know, fresh. And for me, it took a lot to, like, I was literally driving here. I'm just like, I heard that watching the service earlier. I'm just like, although the inside of me is saying she needs this, like the inside of me is saying she needs this.
I think she needs some understanding. I think she feels like she don't have nobody to talk to, even though she does.
I think that that's a very normal thing for a child, right? Yeah. And I think that's something else that we can talk about because clearly Vonnie just, he's a witness. I mean, an example right now. My mom would always instill this in me, and yet still I grew up to do the opposite. Yeah. Right?
I think that after a certain age, it's a study. It says that you don't listen to your primary parent anymore. I think it's after 10.
That makes sense.
I think that from like obviously 5 to 12 is a time where we're there to dictate what the fuck goes on in this motherfucking house. This is how we do things. This is why we do things. After that is the time where we should like coach, sit back and so I think to agree with what you're saying. Yes, I think it ends up being that because we're handling the situation wrong. We're approaching it wrong.
Yeah.
And you can't get the same results.
There isn't like you said, understanding. Like she just wants to be understood. A lot of times we get consequence, we don't get understanding. So anything that happens, it's met with consequence. Right. It's not ever. It's rarely ever met with understanding.
So why did you do that? It's like, you're on punishment. Get in your room.
Yeah, I think you guys know me to be somebody that's like very understanding, and you obviously we and you have had conversations regarding my kids in general. Right. And I really do like that's something that, especially I would say the last 3 years has been very, very important to me. Trying to understand 2.5 years. Trying to understand more. And I feel like, I mean, first of all, it's forever like this dynamic, right? However, I just feel like it just don't be working for these kids, man.
Well, understanding?
Yes.
It does.
It will.
It's working.
I think it takes consistency.
Yeah, it's working. It didn't work and now it's done. It's working though. If it's the other thing, you'll realize later on that it didn't work. Yeah. So I think now it's like whatever you're doing, if it's patience, which is something I gotta practice, bruh. I mean, I'm not gonna share too much detail, but you know what the kids is going through and stuff like that. So yep, you know what the kids are going through and stuff like that. So it's like I'm dealing with Haley. She's kind of lashing out a little bit. It's a little angry, and she should be.
I was about to say rightfully so.
Right. So the other day it was like 5 a.m. because again they're with me now, so we got to wake up at 5 to leave the house by 6 to get them to school by 7 early, like every day. So she's up, her and Micah going at it, and you know Day and Nola in the room, they sleep. And I'm like, yo, be quiet.
Ass, huh?
And she said, you be quiet. Just off impulse. Just off impulse.
Next thing you know,
I said, no, bro, again, the patience. So
Yeah.
I started stomping down the hallway. Boom, boom. And every step got harder. Like my feet came heavier. And I just stopped. And I was like, bro, she's going through it.
Mm-hmm.
She told me to be quiet.
it's kind of
I might have been a little loud too. Like, so now I'm like, you know what? And we talked about it later. I said, baby, I love you. You know, I said, I don't want our relationship to start to, you know what I mean? Like, just kind of, I know what you're going through. I'm here for you. Let's make sure that we're a team still through it. So that at the end, we don't have to
I like
fix
that.
this. Yeah. Like, you know, I don't want to have to fix what we had that's amazing already.
Yeah.
You know, like, I understand what you're going through. I'm here for you. So whatever you need, you let me know. And now it's like, you know, like she won't, like even like hugging. She's not even like affectionate like that right now. Like
I told you, bro.
Micah will come and hug
She
me.
came to the birthday party. I'm just like, dang,
she came,
like
hoodied up, right? She had the
hoodied
on.
up and just sized me up. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
I don't have nothing in my wallet. I'm broke.
That's what I'm saying. But my son, who's 3 years older than her, he'll dab you up, hug you, yo, what's up? And then, but Haley, she's like at the end of the night, she'll put her little fist out, like, all right. And I'm like, I love you. All right, like, I'll leave her alone. Bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's enough.
If you love
Like,
her.
That's growth.
Yeah.
Because I ain't gonna lie, 10 years ago, that little, you be quiet. Oh, that's your ass. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
What was that?
What's the sign?
She's an Aries.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Yep, I know. Yep.
That fire.
Already.
I grew up in a house with three of them. I know.
And I'm a Leo.
Oh no.
So that's like fire versus fire. And then I was just like, yo, what? You told me to be quiet. Like,
Yeah, Nas
I had
a
to
Virgo.
chill.
And man.
Yeah.
She's a Virgo.
Yes.
Oh, I like her.
That's crazy.
I like her too.
Yeah, man. But it's dope. It's dope though. I think like us again, just realizing the areas that we need growth in, especially like with the kids, with the 50-50 conversation tomorrow.
Not you rolling your eyes.
Did I roll them?
Yeah.
Oh, that was spicy. My fault.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Payback.
Yeah, because
Right.
you definitely got me earlier. I was like, yeah, all right, whatever. We ain't even going. You know what I'm saying? But Eddie, any more thoughts that you have on? I want to say 50-50. I also want to say on
Fatherhood.
fatherhood.
Oh, so Jerry Springer's final thought. But well, in all honesty, I would say that, you know, to my young guys, that the best, you know, because I think the bomb's already set and ticking on us. We already made the mistakes, but I guess we could just give the advice to the young guys.
Yeah.
You know,
There's some older guys out here too.
I agree.
Same shit still.
Yeah.
But I would say that to them, don't, you know, use your 20s for bettering yourself financially and figuring out who you are and what your intentions are and what you want. And, you know, to us guys that's probably made the mistakes and it's kind of in our latter half of our years, we're trying to figure out these things. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Because
Breathe.
I notice in myself when I'm talking to my brothers and we be, you know, a lot of us are suffering from trauma and things like that from the streets. And it's hard dealing with certain things when you have a warrior spirit. And even though we know that spirit of ours isn't going to be useful within said environment, you know, finding a woman that could tame that beast, that knows how to speak to that animal within you in with 2 words, how you could be feeling all the way up here, woman, with 3 words, baby, calm down. And then you just, it's like, you know, that violin I was talking about earlier. It's just like, dang, you know, immediately, it's instantaneous, you know, rather than just people that would, not people, but just women that just don't give a fuck. The gasoline situation, gasoline over the situation.
Right.
They're arsonists, and it is what it is.
You been through a lot of that?
Oh man, oh yeah, I can see it in his eyes. There's a lot of pain in his eyes.
I can see it in his eyes.
Listen, I've been around a long time.
Okay.
I feel like that the last part definitely can go either way.
Yeah, no, agreed. Agreed.
Okay.
Because again, we speak about the communication side of
I agree.
Expressing our needs. I think that oftentimes women, some of them really do try really, really hard to tame the beast, and the beast is out of fucking control.
Yeah.
I agree.
So we could just work on being a lot more self-aware with who we are and what we struggle with.
I agree.
And have a little bit more intentionality on healing what we need to heal, and it makes it a lot easier for her to come in and then get things under control when necessary. And that's something that I'm literally going through today.
I did too, brother. It's kind of funny that you say that. I think this whole week has been that with myself, finding that balance. Do you feel that that the more calmer you become is like the more pokes? It's like it's so weird.
He's like, yeah,
hell yeah, but
I don't know. It's like I'm trying to become this new guru within myself and not trying to find this level of peace.
That's when
But it's
you
like
test
everybody's just like the bear's there. Let me.
That's exactly.
I feel like it has to do with the conversation that we've been having this entire time about like faking it, right, to an extent. And just hear me out, right? I feel like this because oftentimes we want to, we're emotionally intelligent. We handle this. We do this. We do that, right? And this is something I've learned with myself this past year. And y'all were the witnesses. I thought that I was at the top of my like emotional intelligence and restraint, and I knew what my triggers were, whatever. I knew how to handle them, right? And I felt like that mainly because I removed myself from places where I'm triggered, right? And I came to find out that when it finds me, how can I handle that situation now? So for me, it was like a wake up call. I'm like, oh shit, I still got work to do.
Right, so I can't control everything.
I can't control every environment. I got work to do. So again, I think that if we just look in the mirror a lot more, like I know that's said a lot of times, but bro, just look in the mirror and get familiar with who you are.
That was good.
Yeah. That's it. I know everybody hates this too, but spirituality is important. No matter what you believe in, I think that's number one. And finding your purpose, work, whatever you want to call it. Like,
And before we go, to kind of piggyback off what you just said about like chaos, right? Just like trying to avoid chaos in order to keep your peace. You can't. Right. And if I leave the listeners with anything, it's this. No, I'm splitting up. But it's that again, like if you remove yourself from the chaos, then you're not allowing yourself an opportunity to work on it. Or work on your peace. You can't try to fix your anger in a happy room. Right, so like now you're just in a room.
Okay, that was a bar.
Big bar.
I rap a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But you can't fix your anger in a happy room. So like now, if you're just in this room where everything is sunshine and rainbows, of course you're happy. The moment you leave that threshold, the moment you walk outside of that door,
how do you dare? How do you maneuver
Press
through?
that button.
That was a bar.
But listen, I hope you guys enjoyed this this podcast. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm sure that our gracious host, guest, enjoyed himself. I hope that you enjoyed yourself.
I definitely did, and if I ever get welcome to come back, I'm here. I'm for this.
Maybe it'd be a lot lighter.
Nah, man. I love lifting heavyweights.
I personally feel like this was something that's needed. Obviously, we've been building for a little bit.
Yes, sir.
And I think that, again, people see you in a certain light because you're a funny guy on Facebook, troll and stuff like that. But, like, I've had enough conversations to know that you can be very intellectual. So allow people to see that.
Man.
Absolutely insightful.
I'm not just a troll, guys. I'm not just a troll.
You know what I'm saying? Many facets.
If you guys have your opinions and views on what 50-50 should look like,
save it for your mama.
drop it in the comments. We would love to go through those and see y'all point of view.
Yeah. So thank you guys again for tuning into the Nun The Wizer podcast, and we out.
Nun The Wizer.